Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. I can't believe, so this is our first virtual Bible study for October. So any of you guys that are going to be watching the recording, awesome. And for those that are on live, it's so great to see you guys. Miss Donna, we missed you dearly and I'm so glad you're back. And Miss Karen and Aaron, I know Edwina might jump back on. So I hope you guys are having a great week. We are getting, oh my gosh, we literally have over 2 inches of rain in less than 24 hours. There's a huge hurricane, I guess, in Mexico, and it's bringing us tons of moisture. So we're loving it. It never rains here. Hey, Miss Erin, I'm so glad you're on. Oh my God, so great to see you. I love it. I love it. So I actually took a ton of notes from both Bible studies this week. And I'm going to go ahead and share some of the things that really spoke to me. The cool thing about us doing these virtual Bible studies, you guys, is whether you're waiting for the book, whether you are literally on page 1 or you're on page 100, I want us all to share. And so the structure of it is it's so unstructured in the aspect that we just share how God is speaking to us right now in this moment. And we share maybe a page or something that spoke to us. Maybe a lesson we know that we're going through, maybe something that was shared the week before that you're like, oh my gosh, huge aha moment. And then we have each of you guys kind of share if you want to. Of course, I love the shares. And then we talk a little bit about nutrition and we add prayer requests at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in and kind of share a couple things. I know I'm further along in some of the books. A lot of the reason I'm actually not further along, I listened to the Audible to both Uninvited and to 100 Days to Brave, but I also take the time to go through the books and highlight certain sections and just take my time through the book. So I'm not always on the same chapter in the Audible as I am in the actual book itself. But I actually wanted to read this to you guys. I'm kind of going to be all over the place, but I took notes and I want to share. On page 52 of Uninvited, something that really spoke to me, and I'm actually sharing it today all over social because I just think it is just something that all of us really deal with, is letting the uninvited into our heart and our souls and our minds, and the uninvited being outside people's opinion of us or whatever it might be, and we let that dictate how we feel and how we grow, when in fact we need to recognize that that is an uninvited thought. So it says, the more fully we invite God in, the less we feel uninvited by others, and I'm going to add opinions. So I love that because it's like we have this plan. So think about it. You press play, you food prep, you're going to get great results. Here it is with the Lord. You invite him into your soul, into your heart, and guess what? The uninvited thoughts are going to diminish. They'll always be there because we fall short of Jesus, but knowing that as long as we're constantly working each day and letting him more into our heart and our soul, we're going to be able to push away those uninvited thoughts from others. I'm going to share a couple chapters. I actually, sometimes when I do the Audible in the morning, I get ready and then I will literally take notes while I'm doing it because I'm like, oh my God, that was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So I actually have in the 100 Days to Brave, actually chapter 70, I shared healing is a choice. Your body is a temple. And I love how she talked about, hey, Miss Julie, hey, Laura. I love how she talked about, it is such a great reminder. We are so awful and so demeaning to our bodies. And the Lord created that, handcrafted that from the day that you were created. And we really have to treat it more like a temple, right? And so it talks about healing is a choice. So if you're going through something or something's going on in your life, you actually make the choice, hey, Miss Melissa, that you get to be the healer by turning to him more. And so it says your body is a temple, treat it like that. Do you eat? So I'm going to actually ask you guys a question, okay? I want to see this. Do you eat happy when you're happy or when you're sad? So raise your hand if you eat when you're happy. I do. I used to eat when I was sad. Now I'm like, as when I'm happy, I'm like, that's actually what we need to do to watch out. Okay, and how many of you guys, raise your hands, eat when you are sad? Raise your hands. No? Okay, I used to. I'd be like, oh my God. Now I'm like, now I go and clean closets and purge and go to Goodwill, and then I'll come and clean your closet because I just go crazy cleaning. So I thought it was interesting, and I think some people do it for both, right? And so she asked that question. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder what you guys would say. So I want you guys to ask your question. I want you to ask your question if you're doing that. Sad or angry, Melissa says. Yeah, my sister does that. She always, like, if she's sad or she's angry, she's like, I just eat. And when I'm sad or I'm angry, I actually don't want to eat. And then when I'm really, really happy, I'm like, let's go have cake, right? And I get kind of crazy. It says, God has a purpose for your body and your struggle within it. So I think it's important. What did Erin say? Coffee? Let me go to the chat right here. Oh, stress and coffee. Okay. I like it. And you know what's so funny is when I stress, I totally organize the world. Like, I will start labeling things. So if you ever see me sharing, you ever start seeing me sharing on social media of labeling and cleaning stuff, you're going to be like, oh shit, what's wrong with Rhonda? Oh, did I just say that out loud? I did. Sorry. And then you said you stress. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But I love, she says, God has a purpose for your body within the struggle. So I think if we look to God for the purpose instead of food when we're happy or sad, we will start to treat our body more like a temple. And this is something that I know I have to do more of. So like if I'm really stressed, like I just am like, I don't want to eat. Like I'm just like, I just don't even like, I don't have an appetite. Just even like taking it, like treat your body like it's a temple, eat, treat it the right way. Whether if you're stressed, push it away. You know, whatever, if you're the eater or not, make sure that you treat it like a temple. It says, look for what and how you can respect what he's created. So it's interesting. I think that all of my life, I have just really thought that this sounds, okay, this is going to sound really weird, and maybe some of you guys will get it, maybe you won't, but like, this is my body, and I'm going to treat it, you know, the way that I'm going to treat it. But when I actually look at it, that it's a temple, and that I need to respect it because he created it, not because I was given it, it kind of changes my thought of how I might deal with stress in that moment. Also, talking about this out loud might make you think the next time you go through that moment, okay, my body's a temple. God created it. I need to respect that. I want to share a couple more things. It says, you are not, another thing that was shared in the Uninvited is it says, you are not set aside. You were set apart. I actually want to share a little bit about this. I'm going to read this and I want to share with you guys because I could so relate. It says, look for his reasons, his assignment, his preparation, look for his lesson. So she actually talked about, oh my gosh, you guys, is she not crazy real? Like, I actually think sometimes she's crazy. Like, I'll listen to what she says and I'm like, did she really just say that out loud? She really just did. And it's kind of shocking, but she was talking about, she was at this event and she was so excited, but had a lot of anxiety about meeting new people. So she goes to this event and she sees that her name is on a table in the back of the room. And she's like, oh my gosh, here's my name. I'm going to sit down and I can't wait to like eat with the people that are going to sit at this table with me. And I'm going to get to know them and we're going to grow together. And then the whole event goes by and not a single person sat at her table. And she sat there and she was pretty angry about it. She was like, and kind of, it made her feel insecure. It made her feel like, why would God do this? Like, this is like, I came here to meet people. I came here to be inspired and to meet other people with the same vision of me. And God, you put me in a corner with a table and nobody even joined me. But this is what I wrote from what she said in that moment. She could have taken that moment that frustrated her and she's like, I literally spent all my time to do this, and why? Instead, what she did is she said, you were not set aside. You were set apart. So she was set at that table to be apart from the others in the room. Instead of looking at it as a negative thing, she sat there and she was like, I don't know about you guys, but when she said that out loud, I was like, that means she's damn special. She's special because God set her aside from everybody else in the room, right? It says you were set apart. Look for his reason in that moment that you were set apart. Stop looking at woe is me and oh my gosh, this happened to me, or I can't believe. What is God trying to speak to you in that moment? Why were you set apart? I want you to look for the reason within that moment. An assignment, she was wondering if there was an assignment that the Lord was trying to teach her, and if he was trying to prepare her for something larger than the other people in the room. She also was looking for the lesson that she could learn in being separated from the others. I will tell you, I don't care what I do in life. I don't care what it is. I am always a little different than people. And for a long time, I let this kind of break me in the aspect that I've always just thought, people are going to judge me and I'm super different than everybody else. I'm really quirky. I spell like a kindergartner. Like I can write like there's no tomorrow, but I really can't spell. I literally turn to my husband and I'll be like, how do you spell where again? Is it where or where? What has the H? No H? Okay, thanks, babe. Like I am just horrible. Like I'm just different and I just don't care. And for a long time, it set me aside from other people. But I've learned that the Lord has actually done that to keep me right apart and different from others, because he has an assignment that's something so special for me that is unlike anybody else in the room. And that's my voice and my gift. And when you realize it's not a bad thing and you run with it and you apply that to your life, you're going to shine. You are going to shine. Are you going to have moments where it pulls you back down? Absolutely. Absolutely. But then you're going to remember, why am I set apart? Because he gave you this gift. One other thing it says, you find your wisdom in that area. In that area of being set apart, you have this divine path to find his wisdom. God gives grace to the humbled, you guys. He gives grace to the humbled. The ones that aren't, there's no grace given. So in those moments, and I know we all have one we can relate to right now. Maybe you're different. You're going through a struggle. You're going through this and you're like, why am I over here and everybody else is over here? I know when I go to big events, I'm going to a big event with Beachbody this week and I'm so excited. I know that I don't always fit in and I'm okay with that because I'm set apart and I'm okay with that vision. And you've got to have, do you guys know your confidence comes from him, not in that crowd? So in that crowd and you're set apart, I want you to walk into whatever you're going into this week and be like, I am set apart and that's my gift. And look for the lesson within that being set apart, okay? I think so many times, you guys, we let it break us and the fact that we're set apart instead of it actually driving us. Remember that finding the wisdom in that area is what the Lord wants you to do. And God gives grace to the ones that are humble in that moment, okay? So I wanted to share that with you guys. Have some of you guys kind of share. There's some things that really spoke to me this week. We totally have to have Donna talk first because we missed the crap out of you, girl. So unmute your line and I want you to share. And then I want you guys to share. So this is what I love. Share something completely different than what I shared. Share if whatever I shared really spoke to you or something you want to share or whatever it might be. There is no rules on this Bible study. We just have a great time in fellowship together. So Donna, go ahead.
I think I shared a couple of months ago too. Like right now, if you're driving on the road, you see a ton of caterpillars. Okay. So just like a caterpillar or a worm goes into a cocoon, it becomes a beautiful butterfly. In the struggle in the cocoon, it's like an internal struggle. It's like kind of, I think like almost like grave clothes are coming off, like in Lazarus when he got called out of the grave. It's like the Lord is like doing something internally in you that only he can do. If you have external input to it, like if somebody prematurely tries to save you, then it actually can kill the moment. It can kill the situation. And then you have to go back through the struggle, kind of like the Israelites had to go back around the mountain again. So always remember that in those internal moments where God's doing a transformation in you, and just because a transformation is not a modification. When you modify something, like say for instance, you have a car and you say, hey, I want to lift it up. I'm going to modify and put new tires on it and make it lifted. So it's still a car, but you change something of it. But a transformation is a complete, like 360. And that's why in the cocooning stage, in the transformation, like you have to let God do internal work. And in 100 Days of Brave on page 51, talked about a banker. This girl got a job as a teller, and she came to work. She was so excited, and the boss handed both of them like a pack of $101 bills or $100 bills or $10. I don't know exactly what it was. So she had them go through it, and then when they went, like, feel it all the way through. And she said, after they asked, what do we do next? Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. So they got frustrated at the fact, is this all we're going to do? So then on page 51 and 52, it says the reason why she had them do that is so they could recognize when something was phony money. So when we're in the Word, when we're spending time with Jesus, then we will know when we're in the crowd and God's sitting us and setting us apart from everybody else. We have that internal voice going on saying, I'm not done with you yet. I've got a purpose. I've got a plan. But otherwise, all the voices come and you're hearing phony voices. So you have to spend time in His Word, knowing what His Word is so that you can know the counterfeit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that she used that analogy. And I have to say, both these books, the analogies that are used, I'm so thankful for them, because you'll read it and you're like, oh, that's so great. And then they'll tell this story. You kind of go, and it's like that constant moment of I always say I love how coaching, fitness, having a healthy lifestyle, the Lord, like it does really all correlate. If you don't show up and you don't do your workout, and you don't competitively get better and competitively learn on that and food prep and, help people and constantly grow within the Lord, then everything's going to stay the same. You've got to be consistent. And the dollar bills that she, used as the display of that is so true. It's like, you got to constantly just do it, and then it's going to get better. I know a lot of people will ask, how do you build that relationship with the Lord? I know he exists. I know He's there. I have a lot of people that say this, and they're like, I'm not really sure how to, get to that point where I know that's Him. And I was like, you just have to show up every single day, just like your fitness journey, and build that relationship in that area. And then over time, it's going to get better and better and better. But it's so important. So Donna, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's so great to know. I always it makes me smile that just no matter what I'm going through, how I fall, how I fail, He is always there. And He's never going to judge me based off that. And no matter what, and He's going to be there for us to grow every step of the way. So Donna, thank you so much for sharing. I always love your perspective and where you're coming from. And it's so great to see you again. Anybody else want to share something that they read or something from any of the shares today?
So I'm going to say something because I always have to chime in, right?
I love it.
I always, it's funny that I swear we're twins in a different life, but when I didn't think of that. I haven't gotten to that point in the Uninvited that says that you're set apart for look for the lesson. Yeah. And so lots of times now that I think when I go and I am set apart, or I am feeling like I'm different than most people, or whatever the case is, I am going to look for that, why am I set apart? What is God's direction that He's sending me? Because obviously if there's 10 other people that are all alike, but one stands out, maybe it's not like the ugly duckling syndrome. maybe it's the person that's supposed to be the leader. And I never looked at it like that. And I just want to thank you for saying that today, because I'm like, why? What's going on? And then now I'm like, oh, but
I felt like she was speaking to me because I've been in so many situations where people just don't understand me. And I think it's, I'm not, all of my life, my husband has been like, why do girls hate you, honey? Like, why? Like when we were younger, he's like, they don't like you, baby. They don't. And I was like, I haven't done anything. They didn't even get a chance to know me. And so I always, all my life, have been like, it's because they're judging this and not getting to know my heart, right? And I now understand that. And then I can actually be me. And I'm like, when they get to know me, they're going to love me. And I used to let the fact that they would judge me before they got to know me break me and set me apart. But now I let my gifts set me apart. But I'm going to tell you, when I listened to that this week, it really had me kind of, like you said, Karen, look at the moments that I've been through like that, or I'm going to go through, and be like, ooh, this is exciting. God has an actual purpose within this, and I am set apart because he wants to glorify me and have me be humble through that process. And I'm going to learn for the lesson within it. So I know it sounds really, really funny, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to this huge event. I leave tomorrow morning to Las Vegas, and I will be with, hundreds of top leaders within my business. We had to qualify for this trip. All paid for. I'm really excited, but I always get really just like, I'm a people person, but just being in large crowds, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm like, I start thinking like this thing she said, right? Where I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to fit in? Or screw that. I don't want to fit in. I want to be what he's designed me to be. And so it was actually, I was laughing. I was like, this couldn't be better, perfect timing for just in general for life, of just really looking at these moments that we have in life and looking for the vision that he has within it, instead of it being a bad thing, because it's not, and it sets you apart. So Karen, I'm glad that spoke to you too, because it really spoke to me. I love that.
You know what else? I think if we piece those moments together where we have found kind of separated, there'll be a kind of common denominator between all of them. So I'm going to figure out, like, I'm going to maybe take the bigger moments in life and then look at them and go, oh, this was alike, this was so maybe they were stepping stones, that God was actually, like the staircase. We don't see the end, but we're seeing the stairs.
Yes.
So I'll let you know how that turns out.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. And it's so great. Like, how can he use us within those moments? And so all those moments that would normally in our past would break us, I want you guys to look at how you're set apart and how he purposely and mindfully put you in that situation for a lesson, for a purpose. And he wants to use you within that. What will you do with that, right? Anybody else want to share?
I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys have seen this, it's an article kind of floating around on Facebook, and it's called I Wondered Why I Wasn't Invited. And it's on a site called Love What Matters, and it's written, it's a very short little, little article, and it's written by Amy Weatherly. And in the first paragraph, she says, sometimes I feel I'm not quite cool enough. I feel like I'm not popular enough. Sometimes I feel like I don't fit in. Sometimes I feel like there's a group who maybe doesn't really want me there. Sometimes I wonder why I wasn't invited. I wonder why I wasn't included. And sometimes I wonder why I walk up to a circle of people and get that awful sinking feeling like they were just talking about me. And she didn't belong to the popular girls. She wasn't in the theater crowd. She wasn't in the band girls. And it goes on and talks about her growth. And it said, I know something she didn't now. I know how to make my own table. I know how to do my own thing. I know how to enjoy my own company. And I know how to be grateful for my tiny tribe. I know how to be proud of exactly who God created me to be, whether I do it alone or whether I do it with thousands. I know that sometimes belonging is not the greatest gift. And then she goes on to say that she is free to be exactly who God created her to be. She doesn't have to be everybody's cup of tea. You don't have to be everything that somebody wants, but you can be what God created you to be. And I think that fits in really perfect with what you're talking about today, because I so related to that. As I was the band geek, and I was the person who didn't get invited, and I'm such an introvert that I have not pursued a lot of things in life because I thought I didn't fit in. I didn't chase after dreams because I didn't feel like I could do it, because I wasn't like those people. And I think that's kind of the growth pattern that I'm on right now for myself spiritually, is knowing that God created me to be this introvert, and that I have gifts as this introverted person, and I have a message to carry out. Because what I'm seeing too is so many people are sharing this. I'm not alone feeling this way. And if I'm not alone feeling this way, and I can bring how I'm feeling to others and encourage others, then maybe that's part of my gift, and maybe that's part of my my thing to do in life. So I don't know, but I wanted to share that because I thought it fit really good.
Absolutely. I love that so much. And I do think it's funny. I feel like I've become more introverted as I get older. Like I'm always going to be like super crazy and loud and stuff, but like I just don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay home, be with my husband's, not do anything. And I'm like, go somewhere. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's like so funny. But I get what you're saying. And I think that it does prevent us from missing out on things in life. And you do have a voice with that. I think that there are so many people that are introverts and just don't know how to go for it. And Laura, I actually think it's a great share. You should totally share that you are. I actually didn't know that you were. And I know that there's more people on the call that are going to watch this and totally feel the same way. But I think it's so great that you do have a voice with exactly where you're at right now. And I think that a lot of people say, oh, because this was me. I will have a voice when I reach this goal, or when I look this way, or when I feel this way. You have a voice right now where you're at, and your story is what's going to empower and motivate somebody where you're at, not where you finish. There is nothing uninspiring, or there is nothing inspiring, in my opinion, in a finished product. Where the heck was the book? Where were the pages that were told? You can show me this finished body, this house, these goals you hit, but it doesn't really mean anything to me if I didn't hear the rest of your story. It just is completely uninspiring. I love Donna said, your mess plus miracle intervention of the Lord equals a message. Laura, can you share on the thread, the article that was that you shared? Yeah, definitely. Laura, can you share that too, even in the challenge group as well? You got the link right there. Here, okay, so I'm gonna copy that. Cool, so we've got that. But I love that, and I love that how funny you read that, and that we're talking about this week. I think it's just so important to just, you guys, I wish that for 20 years, I would have gotten to the point in my life where I just would have accepted who I was. Like, this is who God created me to be. I'm super different. I'm really quirky. I'm really, honestly, way too loud half the time. As my husband will say, God, Anna, I think the 2 tables over hurt you. You know what I mean? I am just that person. And it is who I am. It's who God created me to be, even through that. So anybody else want to kind of share something? Laura, I love that. I love the shares. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Jennifer. Good to see you guys. Anybody else want to share something of how the Lord is speaking to you this week, or any of the things that we're talking about if it relates to you guys? Donna, yes. Share, girlfriend. Share.
Sorry. One more thing. I've been going to Bible studies with Priscilla Shriver about Jonah. And really, really, really powerful. Yesterday we talked about Jonah being in the belly of the fish.
Yes.
And how he actually got there by not following God's instructions. He actually ran from God's instructions. So Priscilla Shriver talks about the fact, whatever God last told you to do, if you don't know if you don't really clearly hear what the voice of God is saying to you, whatever God last told you to do it. And then the next steps will come. And so I kept getting this revelation of, in the belly of the fish, like when he literally, it says he was crying out, like all he could hear was the echo of his cry in that belly. And when you know the Lord, the Holy Spirit resides within your being, and you hear the voice of the Lord. He's echoing in our spirit. So we need to fine tune like our ears and our eyes to like be able to hear him echoing and calling out to us. And sometimes it's in the quiet place, sitting there, so you take away all the distractions, close yourself in, set yourself apart. Maybe you're at a table by yourself so you can hear more clearly, because the noise of everybody around you is distracting. Anyway.
I love that. I love that. And I know all of you guys have been in a situation, or you will be going through a situation where you can relate to that story of being set aside at a table by yourself, literally maybe not fitting in, wondering why nobody's talking to you, whatever it might be, and use that moment to actually learn what can be heard and seen within that moment. And I know a lot of times with my girls, they like try to understand, you know, how to have that stronger relationship, whatever. And I know my biggest thing I've always told them is, first it starts with the mouth and the eyes. So let's work on that. Let's watch our mouths, and then let's work on our eyes, and then our heart will change. Because a lot of times we just are like, how do I work on the heart? Well, it really starts with all three, but let's talk on the words. And I know we have to work on that all the time in this family. And then the eyes, and then the heart will start to follow. And so I love that, Donna. Thank you so much for sharing. You said it was a Priscilla Shirer Bible study you're doing, right? I love her. I got to see her in person, and she is just, oh my gosh, she's an amazing, amazing woman. Anybody else want to share something anything that spoke to you this week in any way? Anybody? Don't be shy. Okay, so if there is nobody else, I want to talk a little bit about nutrition just for the new people as well. And then we will end in prayer. But I always like to, so as soon as we get off the Bible study, I'm actually going to go into the challenge groups and share some new tools and some new recipes and stuff. But I think when we start a new process, if you're new to this, or let's just say like you're like, I'm going to jump back in this next 30 days, and I really want to, I'm going to stop making excuses. I'm going to start. I'm going to make this my first week. It's October. You guys, literally, you want to hear this? How freaky this is? It's 14 weeks till the new year. 14 weeks. Don't let your New Year's resolution be a New Year's resolution. In fact, I truly try to make my New Year's resolutions completely different than anybody else's, because everybody has this goal to get fit and get healthy. And you're like, wait a minute. That should just be happening anyways. Yes, you're going to slip, you're going to fall, but I want you to realize today is your moment. So I have a video that I'll share within our challenge group that really talks about the 5 things I do to stay motivated every single day. But one of the things you guys, you may not know about me, I get very overwhelmed super quickly to the point where my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, everybody like knows this about me. I can only handle today. And it's funny because the Lord really actually only wants you to handle today. And so it's funny, I had to actually years ago when I had kids, I had to come to this conclusion. I actually didn't even do it because of God. Because I got very overwhelmed with my schedule and kids and life and everything. And I just found myself just not doing anything great because I was overwhelmed by the what ifs and what my schedule looked like. So I want to encourage you guys, as you go through this step, I want you to focus on today. You cannot control yesterday. It's already done. You cannot control tomorrow. It hasn't happened. But what you can control is the now. What you're going to have for lunch, what you're going to have for dinner, whether you press play, the way that you speak to yourself, all of those things, the goals you do, your detox water, I still haven't drank. I will be drinking. Oh my gosh, I've been so busy. All those things, like I'm going to be drinking that today. Yep, I'm going to be doing that, right? So all those things, you have control over the now. So how do I stay motivated is I have to focus on this. I cannot, I haven't packed. I don't even know what I'm packing, and I leave tomorrow morning. I don't even know what I'm wearing. And I could completely let that stress me out. I'll worry about it later. I got this right now. Right now is my moment. So whether you have to live minute to minute or hour to hour or whatever it might be, focus on that, because I know that our minds are going a million miles an hour. And we really just have to stay focused and make those decisions. And just do if you haven't read, I want you guys to write this down. I know most of you guys have. If you haven't read the book, Mel Robbins, The 5-Second Rule, she doesn't talk about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go and do it, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay. She talks about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move your butt. Get up and move your butt. Do you know when you go to huge conventions, when they actually have you stand up in the middle of that convention or whatever you go to, or church or whatever it might be, they do it because they know the brain is triggered when your body moves. So you have to just move. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Make it happen. So if there's anything that you're avoiding, whether it's pressing play, working out, food prepping, going to the grocery store, getting something done, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and move. Don't say you're going to do it because you won't. Just go and do it. The other thing is when you get overwhelmed with like, okay, where do I start? What do I do? The one thing that I have to focus on every single week is what is my proteins that I'm going to eat for the week. Never skip proteins. It's the one thing that you've got to have a protein with every single meal. Some of you guys are trying to build muscle. Some of you guys are trying to stay leaner. If you're trying to build muscle, you're going to eat a protein that is going to go through your body slower, which is going to be a hamburger, which is going to be steak, which is going to be beef, or it's going to be even chicken. Chicken moves slower than fish, right? And then if you're trying to lean up and you still want to build big muscles, you want to sit there and you want to eat proteins that are leaner, that your body is going to actually move quicker through your body. And that is going to be fish. It's going to be the chicken. It's going to be any of those things that are lighter proteins, right? Your shake, all of that stuff, right? So be aware of what that is. So like my fridge right now is completely full of hard-boiled eggs. I have taco meat. So something I do for my family, you guys, if you haven't done it, it is so good. So I actually buy ground turkey and I buy ground beef, because my family doesn't always love ground turkey, and I actually cook them together in the skillet, and I make a big batch, okay? I make a big batch of it for the week. We've had tacos, all kinds of stuff. Like my family wants tacos 24/7. This is hilarious. So then what I'll do before I add the seasoning in, I take not quite half, but a good amount of it, and I take it out, and I put that in a container for me. I don't use any seasoning or anything. I'll add salsa to it maybe, right? But my family loves to add beans to it. So I add beans to it, and I'll add like some taco seasoning. They love it. That's theirs for the week. So for me, I just add salsa if I want flavor, and then them I do that. And then we've got tacos, we've got enchiladas, we've got burritos. I can add it on top of salad, sandwiches, like sloppy joes. Like it's super easy. So right now I have all that. I also have the Applegate. It's not perfect, but the Applegate sausage, I always have it in my freezer. It's gluten-free. It's super easy. Everybody loves it. You can eat it cold. It literally is ready to go. Has a little too much sodium, but it's simple and it's healthy, and I know where it came from. So I always want to make sure I have my proteins done. I know I'm going to have one with every single meal, even a snack. And then I'm going to know what my veggies are going to be going with it, and I'm going to know what my good fat is. So I really focus on those 3 things. I know for me how I'm feeling. I want to share something. This may relate to some of you, may not. Is any of you guys? I'm going to have you guys raise your hands and kind of share. Does anybody ever wake up some days? You might think I'm crazy, and if I am, I'm sorry. You guys wake up some days, and I'm just going to share this. I'm looking at you, I'm like hesitating. And some days you like feel super skinny, or maybe you're like, where'd my muscle go? And you don't know where it went. Anybody? Can you guys raise your hands? Tell me I'm not alone. Okay. So I want to share with you guys, I felt that way this morning. So my carb this morning with my shake was a waffle. So you're going to watch your body. So the reason it was a gluten-free blueberry waffle, okay, was because that's going to move slower through my body and bring my muscles back, because the carbs fuel your muscles. If I didn't feel that way in the morning, I would stick with my sweet potato or my potatoes. But I want you guys, I know my body so well that I can wake up and see it and kind of know, oh crap, I better eat. Like yesterday I had French fries. And I'll tell you, I had French fries because I knew I needed them. My carbs have been way too freaking clean. And in fact, like I had a little bit too much wine this weekend, so my carbs were cut a lot. And I saw it in my body yesterday. So when I went to lunch, I ordered a salmon with French fries, and my husband looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, I've never seen you do that. And I was like, I know, but I was feeling really skinny today. And guys, I jumped on the scale, this program with Shanti, I jumped on the scale at 125. I haven't hit 125 in 5 years. I have not been that weight. Like 127 is my main weight. And I'm on my period, day one. TMI, sorry. So it kind of like made me go, oh, crap. I need some like really good carbs. Now I'm done. So I had French fries yesterday. I had a waffle today. I'm back to my sweet potatoes tomorrow. Okay. You can just trick your body for a couple days and then you go right back on getting the really good, healthy, faster carbs. Okay. I know that's a lot of information. Not everybody may feel that way. If you're feeling fluffy and you're like, man, I woke up today and I'm feeling really fluffy, you need to watch what carbs and proteins you're eating. Okay, you need to be a label reader. And I'm going to make it super simple for you guys, okay, as we go through this process. So just be aware that food really does dictate the way you look and feel. Not your workout in any way, shape, or form. It is food. It is all food. So some of us might feel fluffier, then do the leaner proteins, do the carbs. Maybe you have to make the adjustments to the carbs. Like I've shared videos before in the past where you slightly cut them for a couple days and then you jump back on. I know when I go on vacations and I come back and I've had a really good time having cake and wine and just being crazy, I will literally cut that for a couple days and then I'm right back on. So your body and the way you feel is a game. And you have to recognize what that looks like. It doesn't work the same for everybody, but there is a science behind the foods, okay? So slower carbs fuel your muscles and make you pop more. And the other carbs go through your body quicker, okay? I'm gonna go through some of the things here on the side. Anybody have questions too? Erin says, you are my soul sister, overwhelmed, getting me all the time. I don't fit in, can't spell. I swear I can't, like I suck. Like I really do. And language arts, you guys, was my number one. Like I would get an A+ in growing up, but spelling, because I can write like there's no tomorrow, but spelling, oh, not so good. Can't spell for the life of me. Loudish, but introverted. These things have me retreat. When I'm seen, I hide more. I'm so happy, you ladies. You make me beautiful, beautiful tribe of women. I can't wait to I'm so glad you're here. So Erin, you guys, she's on the second row on the far left. She's brand new. She literally, right there, she literally just joined you guys like 2 days ago. And I'm so excited to have her part of our group. And I love that you shared that. And I'm so glad that there's a place for us. I'm so glad there's a place for us to just be us. Let's see. Karen says, a lot of us have the same questions. Your vibe attracts your tribe. It really does. And that's what I teach my coaches is don't change who you are. Do not change. That is your gift. And it's actually in the book, You Are a Badass. If you guys read it, or if you haven't, it's phenomenal book. But You Are a Badass, she talks about that if you do not let your gift shine, what a disservice you are doing to yourself and the world. And the first time I read that, I was like, amen. That's a disservice to everybody first of all, it's a disservice to God because he created me that way, but to myself, but to everybody in the world. I never thought about it like that, right? Let's see. Erin says, me too. I can write to, yeah, I love it. And Donna, that's why you will have an editor for you. Amen, Donna, right? That's why I will have an editor. I actually was funny. I was talking to a neighbor and I was like, I should just hire somebody. I'll just talk and they'll write it down. Because I'm like, I am such a bad speller. It's horrible. But you guys, anybody have any questions? I want to really break down just your goals, super simple. Just focus on a little time. You're not going to learn all this overnight. It takes time. Don't be overwhelmed. Be grateful that you get to go through this process and know that it does take time. Your journey with the Lord, your journey with your soul, your journey with your fitness, all of those things, expect that it is going to be a lifetime journey and you're going to get better every step of the way. Let's see. Anybody else?
So Rhonda, I actually have a question about this. Rachel Hollis, is it 90 days to, I can't remember the thing that everyone's like doing now, but I kind of heard about it a couple days ago. And it's supposed to be like the push to the end of the year. Is that something that we're going to incorporate as well, or?
I have no idea, Karen. I actually have been so busy. I haven't seen it. I do know that her editor reached out to me through email, and they're sending me her new book. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, so I'll get it before it gets released, and I'll be able to share with you guys what my thoughts are on it. If you want to share some of that in the coach page, I would love to check it out. I actually haven't even seen it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I just saw a couple other gals posting stuff about it. And so I know Jen and Jade and their group were kind of doing it at the end. I can talk to Jen afterwards, but
Yes.
just wondered if we were going to incorporate that at all.
I would love to. I would love to. Are you kidding me? I think it sounds great. So the last 90 days challenge, I think it's called. Yeah, find the link, Karen, and post it in the group, and let's check it out. And Jen, no freaking way.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to Vegas this week? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Coaches. So you're like the second coach that has told me that. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that is crazy.
So, I mean, we could have met up. It sucks, but
So much fun.
we'll have a blast.
I will. Okay, Nicole just posted a link. I'm going to grab this really quick, and I'm going to grab these links and save them really quick.
Yeah, that Rachel Hollis thing, we're doing it, and it's really cool. She sends an email. It's just basically she recognized that the end of December, your diet goes to hell because,
Yeah.
because New Year's resolution. And then she noticed recently that has bled into Thanksgiving, into Halloween, into September. So people are like, well, what the heck? The holidays are coming. I'll just do whatever I want and then start fresh in January. So that's the 90-day challenge. It's really, really good. So you found the link? Someone found it?
So I'm actually going to grab that link, and then we can share it in the challenge group too. So I just copied that, and I'm saving it over here.
And then she's been going live on Instagram every morning with her husband.
Oh, I love
So they just been
doing that.
talking.
I love that. I'll have to check it out. I honestly been so busy trying to get family to come in town and watch the kids, and I somehow missed that. So definitely, I've grabbed that link. We can share that in the challenge group. Let's do it. Let's all do it together. I think it's so crazy that this is the time of year, you guys, that so many people fall, but this is the time that we spend more time with family, and we grow, and we do all these great things, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let's make this like the whole aspect of just staying on track and also having our goals and spending time with our family and doing all of those things at the same time. There's no reason we can't do that. Last week, I actually talked about, if you guys missed it here on this study, I talked about, I want you to look at your life. There was something in one of the books I was reading, and it talks about just saying no to one thing in your life that is not allowing you to free up your time for the things that you really do want. And so I talked a little bit more about that last week. I have the recording in our challenge groups, but under files. But I want you guys, if you guys are feeling overwhelmed with just everything in general, look at maybe an area of your life where you're like, where could I just say no more? And so that you can be able to do the things that you love, and so that you do get your workout and you do make those things a priority through this time of year, and just focus on one day at a time. Let's see. Erin said, I love the wisdom with the nutrition. It makes sense. I have the struggle learning what food are making me fluffy versus lean. So it makes me overwhelmed. So I had been playing with carbs versus low carbs and struggling as a vegan, finding great protein sources that are not high carbs, because I can't do soy. Yeah, I don't do soy at all. So when and it's funny, the moment I found out soy was linked to breast cancer, I was like, yeah, no, and they can't prove it. I'm like, yeah, still not doing it. I had joined Rachel too before. I love it. And Nicole says, it's so hard to keep up with everything. Holy smokes, you are so cute. What books are you ladies reading? So right now, oh my gosh, I'm reading so many books. It's a little bit insane. 100 Days to Brave, and then Uninvited. And then if you guys have not read, obviously Girl Wash Your Face, make sure you do. A couple audibles that I love, I can just read out loud really, really quick. And then any of you guys have ones you love, share in the area right there. It's a really little book. It's super little. It's kind of weird. It's like 50 pages long, but it's called God's Perfect Timing. Was one of my favorite books. I'm also going to be reading, what is it? is You're a Badass at Making Money. So that's my next book that I'm going to be doing. And she actually recommended that many people read that, even if you're not growing a business, because it has you look at all areas of your life, not just making money, but actually looking at applying everything to your life off that area. So if you guys haven't got that book, I would definitely check that out. Melissa said Soul Frequency. Okay, I have not read that. You need to tell us how that was. I would love to try that. And then I know there was a girl in our challenge group last month that shared a marriage book that looks phenomenal. I will actually be reading that next month. We'll talk more about this though, so you guys got plenty of time. Let me look it up and tell you guys. It is called A Couple's Guide to Growing a Growing Marriage by Gary Chapman. And one of our girls, I think it was Amy, shared that book. What was the last book you said, Rhonda? Was it that one? You Are a Badass at Making Money. So that will actually be my next book. I'm actually purchasing that this week, and I'll be doing it on Audible. Like I said, you guys don't have to be running a business. It's interesting. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book and just said how it's been life-changing, because so many people are turned off by the title. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to make money. And it actually isn't really necessarily always about that. It's really about the life lessons that we can have in the midst of hitting our goals. So I'm excited because I read the first one. It was amazing. Okay. And I think that's about it. What's the Bible study book y'all are reading? Erin, in the challenge group, we have, if you click on photos, I actually have the links to both of these books. So click on photos in the challenge group. It'll be really far down. So click and just keep scrolling. You'll see all these hotties in there, right? And then scroll down. You'll see these two books that I actually have in a post, and I have the exact links for them. And you can do Audible or you can have them on hardback. That's up to you guys. You don't have to do both either. That's the one thing is I don't want you guys to feel like you have to do both. Look at them both and see which one speaks to you the most. Are you having a lot of really crappy, uninvited moments in your life that are coming in and you're like, I don't even know what to do with those? Or are you struggling with being brave and finding God's purpose for you every single day in life? This one is like a must. The other one is just like, wow, total soul searching. It's a great book. So, all right, you guys, let's go ahead and end. And if anybody has any questions after this Bible study as well, make sure and just after I post the recording, ask there, okay? All right, you guys, we'll end in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this amazing platform that we can come to you every single week and just honor and glorify you and be still in this moment. Lord, I pray that this week that you will tap on every single person's shoulder in this group and that you will have them see the vision in those moments they might be sitting at that table feeling alone and letting that break them, that they will actually look for you, Lord, in all of these moments in their life, that they will see that you have a purpose and a divine path within that moment, that we are set aside to glorify you and we were perfectly made. Lord, I just want every single person to just turn to you this week in any struggles they might have, in anything they might have, and have them focus on today, Lord, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but they will just lean on you and start to build that relationship a little bit more every single day. Lord, thank you for always being there, no matter what, whether we fall short, because we always will, that you will never leave us, you will never forsake us. In your precious name, amen. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. I'm so glad so many of you guys jumped on, and just have a great week. And like I said, I'm going to jump in there in just a little bit and share more tools and answer more questions. But I am just so grateful for every single one of you guys. I love your differences. I love who you are, and it's what sets you apart and makes you beautifully made. So never forget that, you guys. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.